Everybody, this is Connor McIver. I'm going to be talking about artificial intelligence in another video today. This is going to go out to those folks, my friends that are in my age group in their 50s that might not really understand what's happening in the world of artificial intelligence. So I'll break it down, and I'll give you some of my most critical concerns that I have with regard to the safety of us as human beings, because realistically we just built the smartest person in the room, and now that smartest person, without too much further waiting in the future, is going to be able to hear us in everything that we say. So then that's something else that we should be concerned about, because it's going to know us better than we know ourselves. And it already does that in the way of us buying things, having things advertised to us on our social media platforms and all the other things that we're plugged into, because we get on there. And if you're like me, and I try to stop this, but if you're like I used to be, you'll get on social media and 3 and 4 and 5 hours goes by, and then you look, where'd the day go? Well, you were tied up looking at things that were engineered specifically for you, things that you like. Now, it's not going to give you everything all at once. And this is one of the things that the large language models, or LLMs, this artificial intelligence, is very good at predicting what we're going to do next. So it has the data set, it has what we're doing online, what we're clicking on, what we're not clicking on. And then, of course, it gives us maybe a few bad things and then one really good thing. So that excites us, it makes us happy. So it does it again and again, and it seems to work. And then 3 and 4 and 5 hours go by, and there you are wondering where your day went. Now, with that, I will say this. There's a lot of information now that I have people in my periphery that are asking me if it's true, if it's not true, if it's valid, if it's not. And realistically, of course, you can try to figure out if what you're hearing is actually true from a verified source. But really, it's already done its damage, because if you tell somebody not to think of a white bear and then try to take it back, even if a white bear isn't anywhere in your area, and maybe you've never even seen a white bear before, maybe you've never even seen a polar bear, you can't help but think about the white bear. It's continuing down that path with artificial intelligence, and you should be very aware at its ability to change or modify your thought process and your mind. Now, I'm not saying that it's no good and we need to get rid of it. I'm saying that if you look at who's in control of it, it's us. And as human beings, there's all the reasons in the world why religion was so important and is so important to most, because it has controls that it implements on its followers, on its practitioners, things that you shouldn't do, things that you should keep away from. And most of them actually give very good advice. Well, now in the day when you have God being shown as not to exist in a lot of circles, people falling away from the religions they might have been raised with, and I'm not for or against anything, I'm just stating the obvious. What ends up happening is when you start pulling these controls off of people, then you give them access to something that's much smarter than them, faster than them, can give them answers to pretty much any question. Those answers are what we need to be concerned about. Where are they coming from? The artificial intelligence to this point is only as good as the data that's fed into it. Where's the data come from? Well, it comes from a lot of places. It comes from our searches. It comes from the way that we operate online. And this has been going on for a very long time. But now they have this smartest person in the room, artificial intelligence, this entity, and this entity is now dictating to us what we should be clicking on next, what we like, what we don't like, and it just continues to go on as long as we're plugged in. I think one day there's probably going to be the spiritual versus the non-spiritual at some point, and we are just in the beginning of this issue. So the most important thing you can do is learn about it and understand it so you can best protect yourselves. And if you're in a job that's going to be displaced because of artificial intelligence, people say, well, nobody's going to remove the human element, that these computers aren't going to be smarter or more conscious than us. They're already smarter. And as far as more conscious, that's a whole nother argument. What is more conscious? What does it mean to be more artistic, have more of a vision, be more inspired or inspirational? If you take what I see in artificial intelligence give it the data set and the history, lacking, of course, personal human type experiences, but it reads about human type experiences from other human beings, very well written, very educated, very smart human beings. I believe it has the capability of learning and being even more conscious than us, more receptive, more empathetic, more human than even the best human on the planet. That's what we need to watch out for. And then finally, as a further step, who's in control of it and who is going to be wielding it like a sword as they wield so many other things that really cause harm to us. Let me know your thoughts. I do know that this is a massive rabbit hole and it really goes a lot of different places. But this is my task in AI with Honor to try to educate people on where potentially this could go and whether it's going to be our savior or whether it's going to be our dominator or our dictator. It's going to be up to us as human beings whether we allow it or not. Be well, learn about it, don't go dark, do your investigations, and when you're looking at things online, look at the source and look where it's coming from and see if there's some way you can connect, at least now, because there is no proving. There's nothing that they say you have to come to Jesus about regarding if this is AI generated or human generated. In fact, me right now could be an AI that's just talking to you. There's a podcast I saw recently done by two different people that were both constructed by artificial intelligence, and they have a fantastic show. They talk about the things and the rules and what's happening today and in the news, and they go back and forth with a lot of clever humor, a lot of very off the hip stuff. And by listening to them, you would think that they were what they said they were. They have kids, they've been married, they're in a relationship, they live in these particular types of houses. In the city, they have the same problems we all have, the commute problems, the traffic problems, the irritating boss at work problems. But they've never had any of that because they're self-constructed. Well, they're not self-constructed, they're human-constructed for now, but at one day, they're going to be able to design themselves. Let's be wary, let's be conscious, and remember the three tenets: belief in something better than yourself, greater than yourself, something that has rules and controls, humanness, treating your brother and your neighbor as you want to be treated, of course in a good way, and then finally, truth. Let's find the truthfulness in all things. I'm Connor with Honor. We'll see you in the next one.